Hello, 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 and welcome to the Rag Company Podcast. I'm Dane Hennen. To my right, Levi Gates.
Yeah, the master of shine.
And to my left, Anthony Fisher.
Yeah, the master of shine.
Part two.
What?
Part two.
Okay.
So, this is the Rag Company Podcast, and, you know, we generally talk about things. What's going on, guys? How was your weekend?
It was nice.
Yeah.
Anthony and I got to partake in some hefes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very nice. That was probably like the highlight of your week, right?
Yeah, it was. Dane really missed out. I mean, he was there with us in spirit. I had what was it called? A flight of margaritas?
You had a flight of margaritas.
Yeah.
Which is like
you just
large
kept sending me
quantity.
pictures of food and drink, and I kept sending you angry animated
And
gifs
then
back.
I sent pictures of all of us like having fun and how much we were laughing and enjoying ourselves.
And we were saying, dang, Dane's really missing out.
Yeah.
All right, so
Real
I'm
nice.
just kidding.
So,
All
yeah,
right,
so
come
let's
back.
rewind a little bit.
on a realistic note, what we're going to do is we're going to go over business as usual,
Yep.
talk about our weekends,
Yep.
And then we're going to go into the whole Obsessed Garage OG event at
Yep.
Rupes headquarters
stuff.
that we had last week because there's a lot to go over there. And I know some of you guys are probably curious on what happened. Did we have a good time?
Some of them
Was
might
it a
have
bad
even
time?
been there,
Yeah,
and
some
they're
of you
May
listening
have even
now.
been there. Who knows?
No, good stuff.
So, Levi, take it away with your weekend.
Well, we landed.
When did you land?
I landed Saturday night about 9:45.
That's when your weekend started.
That was when my weekend started. Got home, got an Uber home, and I think my Uber driver was high. I'm not sure, but
How are you?
he was
gauging-
giggling. He was giggly. He was
So-
very giggly.
Well, that's
He's
kinda
just a giggly
that's
dude.
just
No,
judgmental.
no.
Dane used to Uber drive, and he
You
was
should have
giggly
seen
all
his.
the time.
You should have seen his. Let's just say he had a big fro.
Okay.
How judgy much.
His car smelled like weed.
Oh, well,
Okay.
see, that's all
Well,
you
you should
got to
have
say.
started with that. I mean,
And
You burying the lead.
he was giggling so much when he watched other cars driving behind him,
was he?
and he was talking about how he couldn't wait to retire from Uber in like another month because he was done with it. And I
Okay.
said, "I think you mean
I'm glad
quit,
I'm your passenger.
not retire."
You're like he was really he was kind of like a timid, and he kept asking if the cars behind us had lights on top.
Yeah,
I wasn't
basically.
really sure
Yeah,
why.
Uber's
Yeah.
not known for their
No,
severance
we went
packages.
down my road, and there are speed bumps, very large speed bumps, and he took it just fine. And all honesty, I drive a high performance machine, and I like to see what kind of air I can catch when I do hit
Well,
those
you have
speed
great
bumps.
suspension.
Yeah.
Right. Well, that's H&R Springs and 130 mile blown out struts. So 130,000 mile struts. So
Yeah.
I mean, pretty good. So
Yeah.
soft, supple, yet tight when it needs to be.
And
so
they got good clunk when you need
yeah.
it, right?
Oh,
yeah.
boy.
So I always like to jump those. So I was cool with him hitting it. But what was funny was the car behind us went a little too fast, and he started laughing hysterically. And I was like, that was okay. And he's like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, bro. That guy was like totally got air, I swear. So I was like,
I
all
think
right.
this would have been
I
all
would've
right. I
laughed.
would have been
I
fine.
would've
I
with
did.
it.
I laughed.
I
I
would've
thought it
been
was
okay
funny
in that
because I was
spot.
getting a kick out of it. But no, I came home. Wife and I went upstairs, had some ice cream, watched some Supernatural. Sunday morning, I woke up completely dead to the world. Carly and I got up about 8 because the kids attacked me because they knew I was home.
Yeah.
So we got up about 8. Well, it was about 7. And I looked at her and I said, we don't have to go to church today, right? Because I don't want to leave this bed. And she was like, yeah, we don't have to. So we just kind of chilled out, took a nice, relaxing morning. And then my mom called and was like, hey, I'm at my school. I need your help. And I was like, oh, crap. I totally forgot that I told my mom that I'd come help. So I got dressed, hustled over to her new school. So
Yeah.
she's a kindergarten teacher. And the school she's at, they just rebuilt. She's in one of the oldest, poorest schools in Boise. And they just built, it was a highly contested deal for the North End to build this new school and include a community center and all this stuff. So they built the new school. It's gorgeous. It's completely state-of-the-art, unbelievable. And they moved her, this was the moving weekend. So she had put her, APB out to family and friends and parents of students to come help volunteer. So I went over there for a couple hours and helped her declutter
Of course.
all the stuff that she did have. So, literally like opening up a box and pulling out like 5 papers out of it and then throwing the rest of it away. Like,
Oh, wow.
it was a lot of that. So
Okay.
I did that on Sunday. Then I went home.
Hold on really quick. Did she pay you in chicken enchiladas?
No.
Can she please bring more? They were great.
Can.
I
She
loved
can.
them. I thought they were so good. I know you've had them all your life.
I don't have a problem asking her for more
But-
chicken enchiladas.
Everybody loved them. Morgan loved them. Jeff loved them.
Yeah.
Carolyn,
They were all. Everybody was dying over them. It was great. Yeah.
They're amazing.
Yeah.
She was so happy to bring them.
She was stoked. Yeah.
she's-
So, Mom, I know you're listening. So, Anthony
you're
wants
amazing.
more chicken enchiladas.
Please, they're so good. I love them.
But yeah, no. So then I went home and we kind of just hung out for a bit, ran some errands. Basically, what happened was though, my buddy called me and he had bought a brand new pickup.
Oh,
$65,000 brand new Silverado 3/4 or 1 ton heavy duty with the diesel with the Duramax,
The big boy.
fully loaded, black with black interior.
a black beauty as they call it.
Yeah. So, and he's my buddy who came over and we did his the Indian motorcycle.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
So he's a Marine. He just got promoted to Master Sergeant, which is a big deal in the Marine Corps. And so his plates for himself, for his new truck, his new position, say Master Sergeant on them. And he's got the Idaho Marine veteran plates and the Marine license plate frames. And he got a big like metal grill piece to fit in the front bumper in black that says USMC. And so pretty dope. You guys probably heard the story. He's the one that had the Hummer land on top of him. Or no, the
Yes.
dual axle pickup
That
land
guy.
on top of him. That's if you've listened to the podcast. So
Yeah.
so anyway, he called me and was like, "Oh my gosh, I need help. My truck, I ran it through the car wash." Now he was taking it down next this week to get Ceramic Pro put on it.
No call starts good with that first line.
No, and he had messaged me before he left, and he said, "Hey, I was wondering if we could clean my truck and maybe do some stuff." And I said, "Yeah, are you looking to do a ceramic coating on it?" He's like, "No, I paid the dealership for like a seal coat or something. I don't know what it is." And I was like, "All right, bro, here's what you need." So I sent him a nice text, said, "Find out what it is that you're paying for. Text me what it is, and I'll say yay or nay if it's good or not." Because you don't know. It might be permaplate. It might be resistol. It might be whatever. There was another one that starts with a
It
Z.
might be water.
It might be water and detail spray because it is
Yeah.
sometimes. It
Yeah.
is. And so
You
I
laugh,
feel
but
so bad.
I've
I feel
heard
bad,
horror
but
stories for
yeah,
sure.
like so. Anyway, he was like, "Well, it's Kendall," and I was like, "I don't know who they're using or what." So he sent me a picture. He's like, "It looks like it's this company, Ceramic Pro," and I was like, "That's fine. It's a good product. It works. That's cool.
Yeah.
Get that done." He said, "Yeah, they're gonna do this, this, and this." I said, "Everything sounds great." So 3 weeks go by, right? We're traveling, all that stuff. He's traveling too. He gets home. He's like, "I got to drop my truck off on Monday at the dealership to get." He's getting like running boards put on, and he's getting some sill plate stuff and just some accessories. And while it's there, they're going to tint the windows and he's going to get it coated and do all the interior coatings and stuff. And so I was like, "Yeah, no, that's cool." So he said they were going to charge him a $250 cleaning fee if the truck was dirty, is what they said. So he thought in his head, and I said, "Well, they probably meant they were going to detail it because they need to have it perfect before they can coat it."
Yeah.
So he thought
reasonable.
So he thought, "Well, I don't want to pay the $250 if I don't have to."
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Again, uneducated, didn't know.
I didn't know.
He didn't know. That's all it was. So he ran his brand new truck through the Mr. Car Wash, which is a tunnel wash with rotating brushes all down the side of it.
Everybody's favorite.
And it was a sunny Sunday in Boise. And he thought, "I'll just run it through real quick because that way it's done and I can check that off and I don't have to worry about it on Monday morning," because he never got a chance to do it yesterday or Saturday. So he took it through. They proceeded to scratch the ever-living snot out of the truck. And
I saw the picture.
I mean, bad. So I got to go back with him to look at the truck, and I was appalled because it was so bad.
Well, it sounded like you had a great little customer service encounter.
I did.
To go with it.
Basically, they complained and said, "We want our money back. We want you guys to fix this. This is ridiculous. You just ruined a $65,000 truck." And they're saying, "Well, how do we know that the truck didn't come in with those scratches already?" and blah, 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 and all this stuff. And the point is, they didn't, it took us a while to get there, but they never said like, "Oh, we'll take care of it."
Yeah.
They never said, "Let's file a claim. Let's get that handled." And that's possibly a car wash management on that side to be able to go like, deny.
Yeah. Sure.
And if someone does complain, you got to remember they're washing a ton of cars. They'd already washed almost 500 cars that morning.
They're washing a lot.
And the goal is that, maybe one car comes back out of those 500.
Yeah.
Every car got scratched that day, but one person noticed.
It's like a lot of
things. It just happened that it was a guy with a brand new black pickup.
Yeah. Where people will count on, okay, a bunch of people buy this thing, and most people, once they bought something or sunk money into it, they may not necessarily feel the need, even if they're like underwhelmed by it, they may not come back and say anything. And there's companies out there that just love that.
Well, and you got to think about it. 90% of the customers that we see in detailing or anything, they don't see scratches.
No, not like we do.
Not like
anymore.
that.
But
his was a unique situation where it's a brand new truck.
Really bad.
And he loves the look of it because he's like, oh my gosh, it's so rad. Because look how brand new it looks and shiny and nice. But he take it through the car wash and he walks out. And he's like, oh.
Well, you had a theory as to what had caused it.
Oh, well, it just means it was a dirty truck in front.
Yeah.
Could have been a muddy truck. They're stacking them within 1 second of each other, like literally less than 10 feet between the car lengths as they're going in, bumper to bumper. So there's not enough time to rinse those brushes before it hits the next vehicle.
Yeah.
So there could have been one side could have had a ton of rocks and gravel and sand on one side. The other side could have had some mud. Who knows? Could have had brake dust. Could have had all kinds of stuff. And it's hitting the side.
And by the time it gets to the next car, it's still on there. It's still attached to the brush. It's still swinging around. So
yeah, because there's not enough time to fully rinse those brushes and get them clean.
Based on the picture, the brushes on their own, if they were perfectly clean, would not have done the damage you saw.
Not that damage.
Not that level. You still would see like hairline stuff.
You could still see it throughout the vehicle, hairline stuff. It wasn't as bad.
No.
But it was the scratching that was extremely scary.
It was deep.
So we brought it by my house after we talked to them. They filed a claim, all that stuff. I drove back over to my house. I picked him up and took him to the gas station, to the car wash. And then I had to do it to my house. He pulled up. I pulled out my polisher, did a quick two-step on it with some last cut. I used a green Rupes foam and then an orange HDO and showed him, pulled out my light, and was like, here's what we can do. And that calmed him. He was like, okay, good. Like, it's fixable. We can do it. I said, some of these are deep. They're not going to come out. Yeah. Some of these are scary. Like, you're just going to have to reschedule the coating until I have time to work on this. And if you want to come with me, I can teach you and show you, and you can help me polish this huge truck because it's a long bed crew cab black Chevy pickup.
Yeah.
So, and he was like, yeah, you're right. So that's where it ended. And then just spent the evening hanging out with the wife and kids. We went and ran some errands. Just hanging out, man. Pretty simple, pretty easy. Went to bed. And
Fisherman's Friend me.
Oh.
Spearmint, please. Thank you.
I can get you one of those.
Thank you. Okay. Sorry.
Continue. So that was my weekend in a nutshell. Very simple, very easy, quick. And then woke up this morning, watched some more Supernatural. If you guys aren't on that show, you need to watch it. It's addicting because you'll love it.
I think I will. I think I need to get into it, and I think I need to get through the first season or two.
Yeah.
The first season's a little different from the rest of
the
show.
Yeah, but it gets better. And I'm in the 10th now, and it's hilarious. Like, it's so funny. Every episode's just great. Like, it's like way more humor and more meta.
Well, there's a very clear point if you're watching the show where it was supposed to end here, wasn't it? And then they just went, but it's still so popular. We got to keep going.
But it's so much fun.
And then they made it work because they made it a little bit different, but it's fun. But there's a clear point where you're like,
it's a good
this
grouping.
Is the arc that would finish most shows.
Is it kind of like when you get to the point and It's Always Sunny where you look over and you're like, what a Charlie thing to do. Or like, that's such a Dennis thing to say.
They do tons of inside jokes about each other and stuff too, which is funny.
Yeah.
So
they call out their own.
Well, and like they're right now, you go on Entertainment Weekly, there's like the cover is them. It's their 300th episode that just happens. Their 14th season, and they're doing callbacks to like photos of stuff, and like they have like that was Carly and I were reading some of the stuff, and it was really funny to see like how long. I mean, 14 years. It's crazy. So anyway, you need to get into the show because it's great.
All right. Dane,
well,
what did you do?
What didn't I do? Literally, all I did was edit The Adam LZ video that I
You didn't change
so
some light
close
bulbs.
to
You
done.
didn't take out the garbage at your house. You didn't.
Christmas tree is still up.
Christmas tree is up, and I appreciate the comments that people have been leaving. There's comments. There's been reviews on iTunes of people saying, "Dane, leave the tree up. Dane, take the tree down." I love it. Keep those coming.
Now
That's
it's
great.
not just Dane wanting the tree up.
Other reviewers like looking at
They're
the
like
reviews,
invested
like,
now.
What are these guys?
Yeah, the
talking
people
That's the
just
best,
joining
though.
in have no idea what we're talking
Dane,
about.
keep
but
the tree.
Yeah, so I have a year-round Christmas tree at my house.
Is the choice of a new generation.
It's just not decorated. It has lights on it, but there's no decorations on it outside of Christmas. So it could be a whatever tree. It's just decoration. Some people have potted plants. I have a tree with lights on it.
There you go.
It's just a tree.
It's just a tree. All right. So, So I've been editing that video, and today I've been cussing and screaming at my computer because it will not give me what I want, which is a clean render. So we're getting that part worked out, but hopefully it'll be ready by this
huge
Wednesday.
Macintosh, $10,000 Mac.
Yeah.
You know, when you build a hot rod computer, it's a combination of many different parts, and it's definitely not a store-bought machine, but you know, it's powerful. It's got its own weird quirks. So,
We're not going to
We're not computer nerds, so we're not going to talk about pooters.
I'm slowly like turning inside my own brain of just like at it. So yeah, basically that's what I've been up to. Any rate, Anthony, how about you?
So I had a pretty interesting weekend. I think a lot of people will be able to relate to this as well. So, my weekend started on Saturday. I got home late Friday night. Katie picked me up. Saturday morning, woke up, had the weekend to myself because Katie works on the weekends. And first thing I did was kind of ooh and ah over my new parts for my Honda Civic that came in, which is hilarious. I get it. I'm putting parts on a Honda Civic. I'm lowering it. I am putting a grill on it. All this stuff.
You're like 20 years late on the whole.
Absolutely. I'm like, I should not be doing this. Like, I'm sitting here thinking.
Did you tell Matt while we were there that you were doing this?
I didn't tell Matt.
He would appreciate that.
I think
Matt, if you're listening, you better watch Anthony's channel.
Anthony's beefing up the Civic. So my '99 Civic is going to be looking.
He would have
good.
been all in on that.
I'm going to be looking like a high schooler all over again, and I'm so excited. So basically, on Saturday, I spent a good portion of the day kind of cleaning up the house, unpacking stuff. But then I put I got like this, it's a grill for my Civic is what it is. It's from a 2000 Honda Civic Si. I basically bit the bullet, bought one brand new from Honda, which I didn't even think they made things from 2000 anymore.
Yeah, that's pretty dope.
They do.
It's a very popular generation.
Pretty crazy. So I put that on, completely changed the front end of the car. It looks so cool. And did that, which kind of trails into the next part of the story here. Right when you do something cool to a car, right, there's always some type of backlash, right?
Well,
there's always something that
happens.
happens. There's a repercussion to the thing you just did. And so later in the day on Saturday, I was going to change my oil in the car. Ended up meeting up with a couple friends. Went out and shot some pictures of their Evos. It was like a small little meet we went to. And then Saturday night, me and Katie went to dinner. She wanted Red Robin. I wanted sushi. So we met in the middle and went to
Red Robin sushi.
No, we went to Buffalo Wild Wings, which is weird. I haven't been there in years.
That's the compromise,
right?
That's what I'm. That's like
I'm confused.
opposite.
I'm like, whoa. Huh?
So we went to Barbacoa.
So yeah, no.
Incidentally, there is a sushi place right next to a Red Robin's here in town. So I don't know why you didn't.
So there is. There's Lucky Fins over there, and that's the thing. Like, I'm one of those guys where I'm like, hey, if you want to get things to go, like, I'll get what I want. You get what you want.
Yeah.
Let's go back home and do it.
Done.
She loves sitting in Red Robin, and that to me, I don't like sitting in Red Robin. Like, when I sit in Red Robin, I hear a kid screaming behind me.
Yum.
I have somebody throwing fries at me.
Red
I have
Robin.
this stupid little game thing in front of me that I'm thinking about playing, but I know I shouldn't because it's going to cost me like $5 per minute.
Yeah.
So, getting back on track here, we went and did that that night, and then the next day, Katie took off to work, and I'm like, okay, I got some stuff to do around the house. I'm going to change the oil on the Honda Civic first because it's no coils are going to wait, wheels are going to wait until we get back from our trip, but I wanted to change the oil. Now, to preface this, I've changed the oil on all of my vehicles my entire life. Several hundred oil changes I've done.
Second nature.
It's one of those things I always do, and I enjoy doing it. It's therapeutic. It's fun for me, and I like knowing that I have control over that. And so the Honda Civic, pretty easy, pretty straightforward. Like, literally takes me maybe all of 30 minutes to do, and it costs me about $22 worth of supplies, right? So I went and got everything. My ritual is that I, jack up the car, put the jack stands under, and then I always lay down a plastic 1 mil drop cloth is what I do just in case there's any spillage or any leaks or anything like that. Get under the car, pop off the drain bolt, empty out the oil, and then I go to the oil filter, and I must have hulked this thing on because
couldn't get the filter off.
could not get the damn filter off. And I have done this so many times. I know to never over tighten it, but this one somehow seized is what it felt like onto the car. So I'm sitting there all different angles. I'm putting on rubber, house cleaning yellow gloves to get a better grip, doing all the things I need to do. Eventually,
do you have a wrench?
Eventually I had a wrench. It's a weird angle to where you really can't get a wrench in. So I got in there kind of at a different angle. And what I did, I just crimped onto the filter and basically created a thumb notch to where I could get a better grip, twisted it off. I was so happy, but it was one of those things where I got so lost in the frustration of that filter that, I emptied it out, put the drain plug back in, grabbed the new filter, spun that back on, and I put about 3 quarts of oil in. My ritual is that I put, up to like basically 5/6 of the oil in, start it up, let it run for a second, and then top it off as needed, with the dipstick. So I put all this oil in. I go, oh, time to test start, time to do a quick start, see what happens. Start it, and I'm always expecting it just to, start up, let it run for a minute, turn it off, right? That's what I thought. Started it up, and I start hearing what sounds to be a hissing sound, right? And then I hear a gurgling sound, and this is all within maybe a second and a half, 2 seconds.
Yeah.
And then I hear a spilling sound, like something is spilling. And I had taken the drop cloth from under the car, right? Because when I do the test, I'm always just checking for one little leak or one little drop, right? So I already removed everything.
Yeah.
Started up the car. I look around the corner, underneath the hood, and I see oil shooting up from my engine bay, literally like volcanoing. And I'm I'm literally it's one of those things where I'm saying cuss words. I'm saying every cuss word in the book, and I look under the car and I just see this pool of oil.
So what happened?
It's like that scene in Community where Troy shows up and the entire place is on fire. And it's just...
So I dive into the car, turn off the car, right? And it was one of those moments, and we've all been there as car people, if you're listening to this and you're a car person, where you F up so bad to where you just stare. And
you don't know what to do.
You don't know what to do, so you're just sitting there looking. I have no word. I don't even know what to say, right? So I'm just sitting here WTF, WTF. I'm saying all these cuss words, and I look under the car, and it is just raining oil.
Pretty sure you just said fart. That was all you said and over and over
fart,
again.
Fart. What the fart?
Well, I've seen a Christmas Story. It's fudge.
I was saying fork a lot. So
fork. Fork.
So it's just raining oil. I'm sitting there, and like you guys, right? What could have gone wrong, right?
Yeah.
There's
what
a
happened?
plug and there's a filter. What could have possibly happened in that time frame? So I'm sitting there. I'm like, okay, I got to clean up this oil. I went through 3 rolls of shop towels to clean up about 3 quarts of oil. Freaking mess. It was an absolute nightmare. And the hard part was that I'd clean it up, but then it would rain more because it was all
You're
soaked.
like, where's my drop cloth?
And so I finally got it semi-cleaned up, and I jacked up the car. And part of me is just afraid to look under the car because I don't know what happened. But I look under there. I don't see anything that could have went wrong, but there was just oil everywhere. So I get out from under the car,
VTEC,
and I
the
say,
boost kicked in.
And for some reason, I had a feeling of, let me look at that old oil filter. So I look at the old oil filter. I'm looking at it, and I'm like, wait, where's that rubber grommet? Where's that ring that's normally on here, right? And I think, holy crap.
Forgot to put it on.
No. The old ring is
the old one was stuck on there.
On the car.
So you put 2 rings, basically, so it had a nice rubber gap that it could squirt out of.
Oh, correct. So I get back under the car. Lo and behold, I twist off the filter. Bam, 2 rings fall off. And part of me is like a sigh of relief because I'm thank God, right?
You understand it.
I
you
figured it out.
So.
But the other part of me is stressing because I have oil everywhere. It's all over the engine bay. It splattered up onto the paint, onto the fenders, onto my new freshly installed grill. I have it on my front bumper. So as a detailer, I'm like, well, I'm got to clean off the paint first, right? That's like my first thing is I'm going to, grab some OptiClean, sprayed everything down, wiped it up. And went back to the store, right? But I'm covered in oil, so I had to shower first before I get into the Evo. Drive the Evo because I'm covered. Get back, take it. That $22 oil change
more oil.
turned into a $44 oil change. Basically, is what it did, and basically zipped everything back up, pulled the car out, did a quick engine bay detail. Basically, what I did is I just kind of sprayed everything down with O&R, grabbed an IK foamer with Power Clean, foamed everything up. I had an Easy Clean detail brush, and just shoved it everywhere. And that's when I realized how much I hate the Easy Clean detail brush.
Because it flicks back all the oil.
So I'm sitting there, and you're asking me, what are these spots on my glasses? They're probably Power Clean.
That makes sense.
Flung back into my freaking eyes.
Yep.
What that is, yeah.
So anyways, mopped that up. Everything was fine. Car was fine. There was nothing wrong there. And Katie, was funny because Katie got home and she's was like,
why didn't you just take it to Dirty Harry, to Einstein's? Or why didn't you just take it to
She asked me,
Jiffy Lube?
She's like, what do you do today? And I'm like, I changed my oil. She's like, all day? And I'm like, you don't understand what I just went through out there. But part of me I don't want to tell her that I spilled over 3 quarts of oil under the garage floor.
Don't worry, she'll see it.
So
she'll hear this.
Well, actually, so what I ended up doing
bought
was
a map.
I went back over it with I always just a brake cleaner, just brake parts cleaner, cleans it right up. Oil spills gone. There's no stain. There's no nothing.
Some Little Rickies.
I did not use.
Should have had some of those.
Big Rickies or
Quick
probably
Ricky or whatever.
Quick
Big
Ricky, whatever the heck they are. But it was So it was a good weekend. Watched the 2 new episodes of Grand Tour.
I started the first episode last night.
Great,
Yep.
Fantastic. If you guys listening to this haven't watched the Columbia specials on Grand Tour, watch them. They're freaking hilarious.
It's fun.
They're awesome.
Yeah, I was enjoying it. My kids were watching it with me yesterday afternoon while we let Carly take a nap. So.
Yep.
Yeah. So. No, that was my weekend. Just basically the story of every car person ever. You do something cool to your car, and there is something bad that follows shortly after, and you freak out about it. But luckily, this was an easy one.
Yeah.
All's good.
So part of me wants to get some new exhaust tips for the Suburban.
Just tip?
You should.
Some big baloney tubes.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Like some big ones like this, like 18 inches long. And
yeah, like somebody rated
like
the pots
big
and
slash,
pans.
like big slash
Yeah, the
tips.
cut, like
cut,
that
are big,
yeah.
but like, and then
The
I'll do
angle.
that on the, because it already kicks out on the side, like on the rear quarters. So I'd still do that, but I'll just have bigger tubes.
You need to get
Just
like
a
the
Because
big
your dad
sharp
put the small, like they're just like a 3-inch tip, but they're just like as big around as a soda bottle.
Yeah.
And they're really bad. Like they're tarnished beyond.
Yeah.
So I'd like to get something bigger that has
say
a
do
deeper
it.
mellow, more of a burple.
Yeah, I say you go for it. I think you just
So it's
straight
like an-
pipe that.
I don't know. I'm gonna
that
straight.
thing.
I don't need it that loud. I just need it to sound a little more meaner.
That's the thing. Like, when he got that done, he did
It's
have
very
custom
quick.
exhaust done. It's just the tips are really...
Tips are
Blah.
cheap and
Yeah.
old, so I'm thinking about ordering some of those and throw them.
I think it'd sound pretty good if you... Because the rest of it's pretty
it's in good shape. I mean, I got
Yeah.
under and checked, and the exhaust system's still in good shape. So.
Yeah.
All right. So,
Anyway.
anyways, we're
It's
halfway
just,
through
odd.
this, and we have a lot to talk
All right.
about.
So
Before we
Oh.
begin, because we're going to talk about the Obsessed Garage week,
Yep.
we're going to talk about the Rupes event and all of that. I do want to give a huge shout out to all of the Rag Company Grand Ambassadors right now. So if you guys
Go
are
check 'em out.
listening to this, I have my phone up here. I just wanted to kind of give a quick read off of everybody that has just been doing absolutely awesome. If you are not aware of what the Rag Company Grand Ambassadors are, they are 10 ambassadors for the Rag Company for a quarterly sponsorship, quote unquote sponsorship, is what this is, and to where we choose these 10 individuals to best represent TRC through social media, whether it be through pictures, videos, reviews, things like that. We send them up, we hook them up with a bunch of different products, as well as towels, chemicals, and things like that to play with, and also to produce content with over their quarter.
Yeah.
Now, each of these Grand Ambassadors also has their own coupon code. So if you are a guy that likes to use coupon codes at checkout, make sure to give all these guys a follow, because they do have a coupon code associated with their name to save you 10% off your purchase. And that includes all towels and chemicals and accessories, excludes wholesale. So really cool program. We had, if you remember, we had several hundred applications. We had to go through a ton of people to find these top 10. And the big reason I wanted to shout them out is because they're just doing so awesome.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, the pictures they're producing is amazing. They're producing awesome videos. Several of them are producing videos for YouTube, which is just super
That's
cool.
like extra credit. That's
it's super cool to see. And not that that's required or anything. It's just we are a creative company. So everything with creativity, we love. And we love when people do their own thing. So seeing these people really take it and run with it, it goes a long way. So just wanted to read a quick list off of everybody here on our who is our Grand Ambassadors for Q1. So we have Marco, aka OC Detailer, which is OC.detail3R. You can follow him on Instagram. He is one of our U.S. Grand Ambassadors, along with Mr. 847 and the ZL1. So he's got an awesome Camaro. He's got an awesome little baby Dirty Max is what he's got,
Nice.
little Duramax. And he is also U.S. based. We have a Fast S5, which is A_Fast_S5. Beautiful car. He loves detailing. He did let me know, though, that he is in a pretty nasty winter, so he hasn't had a chance to do a whole lot of detailing yet. So he's waiting for the upcoming months. He is in the U.S. We have Aloha.detail. So these guys are running a detail shop down in California, I believe, Malibu, around California, and they're amazing. They're
I was
awesome.
gonna say they look like they have fun.
They have a ton of fun.
Nice.
It looks like they like to joke around. Give them a follow. We got Zaya at Carnuba Detailing. So he has really been doing an awesome
It's
job.
Car New N-E-W.
CARNEWBA.
Yeah.
He's like above and beyond.
Yeah,
he's
been doing awesome.
He's doing really good, and
A champ.
we really appreciate the amount of time and work that he's been putting into everything he's done. And that's kind of the reason why I'm talking about this today, is because we don't want those people to think that their stuff goes unseen, because they're really truly
We
is.
all see it.
Totally gets seen.
There's only so much stuff we can reshare on Instagram, and you guys are all doing so awesome that it's kind of hard, because we don't want to spam our followers, but we also want to share your content. So Zaya, you're doing awesome.
So we're encouraging everybody listening, go check these guys out. Tell them that you heard about it on the podcast and say hi.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, we got Joey at
They're all really
Concept
nice
Auto
people.
Solutions, also going above and beyond, doing awesome, making great videos. I mean, he's a hardworking guy. He's doing some really cool stuff. And then we got one more here in the U.S. We got Tom Sack _M3, Adam Thompson. Beautiful white E92 M3. Takes a ton of really, really cool detailing content, as long as it's really good pictures. So if you're a big M3 fan, give him a follow.
Yeah.
And then across the pond in the UK, we have Dan Harney, which is quite literally just Dan Harney, no underscores or anything like that. He's got some cool cars. He's got an Audi RS3. He's got a VW T25 Overland camper.
Love that.
As well as a Harley 883 is what he's got. And so really cool pictures, great content over there, and we like having somebody across the pond to represent us. And for the people outside of the U.S., so the people in Canada, Australia, and the UK, we are having our master distributors for the Rag Company basically handle them in terms of their discount codes. So their discounts are applied through those websites.
Yep. And so the UK, it's Clean and Shiny UK, and then Australia is AU Car Care Co.
Yeah. And that would be for XT. So THI is how you say her name. She's fantastic. She's constantly surrounded by cars, motorcycles, and things like that. She just got her care package, I think today.
Yeah.
So hopefully she'll do some pretty cool unboxing stuff. She's highly involved in motorsports, and we love being able to see our towels and things like that used in more of a car and motorsport setting. And then last but not least, we got Chromatic Auto Detailing, all in one word there, and they are in Canada, So
I love their branding. Very
awesome,
crisp, cool looking.
Awesome branding. I know they told me they're in the process of moving, so they haven't been producing as much content as they would like. But once they get settled into their new shop, they are planning on doing some pretty cool stuff. So,
Nice.
Anyways, check out the TRC Grand Ambassadors. Those are our Q1, Q2 will be opening up at the end of March for applications. So for anybody that's wanting to represent the Rag Company at a social media level and be technically a sponsored.
It's the closest thing we
person.
offer to sponsorship, basically.
Be on the lookout for that. And again, we look for quality over quantity. It doesn't matter how many followers you have. A couple of these people that we mentioned on here only have a couple hundred followers. It doesn't matter to us. It's the consistency and quality in the content that we look for most.
Well, like just you can tell like the care, the heart that's put into it and stuff. You don't. You don't want you to
Absolutely.
be like shilly and stuff
No.
like that. Like
It's-
actually care about what you're doing.
Right.
And that goes a long way, and it shows.
Yeah.
So that's what goes further than anything else.
It's just-
and if you
cool.
submit, do not have a private account.
Yeah, true.
That
I mean,
that makes it a little challenging.
know that you are open to the public when you do submit an application for being a Grand Ambassador.
Ooh, one more thing on that front. If you want to follow all that stuff going on, make sure you follow the hashtag TRC Grambassador, and then also TRC Grambassadors.
Yeah.
So there's plural version and then the non-plural version, but both you'll find a lot of the stuff these guys are posting.
Yeah, and so at the end of the year, we will be choosing one Grand Ambassador to
rule them all.
To rule them all, essentially. So out of the 40 Grand Ambassadors we're going to have for the year, one person at the end of the year will be receiving a pretty large prize, and this is something that
it'll be a nice prize.
This is something that's going to be, I mean, pretty much, I don't want to say everybody's kind of jumping in on this, but all of our friends at all the other detailing companies out there, Rupes USA, Lake Country, Flex, all these different people love what we're doing with this program, and a lot of them want to contribute in some way, shape, or form. So we're going to try to wrap that into the grand prize for the Grand Ambassador of the Year, and that's
That part's a
something-
work in progress, but it will be big, whatever it is.
it's still a work
So,
in progress, but the thing is that's going to be the wow factor, right? That's something that everybody can look forward to, and so it's not a competition. We don't want to make it a competition.
this
but
is just a perk.
we
that
want to make it just a fun thing to
somebody
where
gets
everybody
to-
can be involved in, and really the person that stands out to us the most is going to be the in the running for that. So
there we go.
All right. OG time. You guys.
Levi, take it away. Where
Yeah.
did we start?
So Thursday morning, you and I woke up bright and early. We had to get to the airport by about 4:30, and we caught our flight.
That sucked, by the way. I want to
It
point
was.
that out. I went to bed at, I think I pulled a Dane, and I went to bed at like 12 or something like
Yeah,
that.
I went to bed at like 11,
Yeah.
but still sucked because it's not fun going to bed at 11, waking up at 3:30
No.
or 3 o'clock.
No.
So anyway, we got to the airport, went through right off the bat. It was nice because I had pre-check. Anthony did not.
I did.
Wait, I thought normally because
No.
you have
because
it, he gets
because your
to-
dad booked the trip separately.
Ooh.
Because
Oh,
I was staying for an extra
that's
day and he
right.
wasn't. So so he had to book him separately because we couldn't travel together. So normally if he would have booked them
Yeah.
together, then Anthony would have gotten on my pre-check. So we walk up and I was like, do you have pre-check? And Anthony's like, oh, no, I don't. And he was super bummed. So he had to get in line.
had to get frisked. It was, I mean, they did things with a glove and a finger. I'm like,
it
why
was-
is this
yeah,
happening?
And I just stood over and watched
And-
because I was
And Levi was like, it's because you
through.
don't have pre-check, man.
in and out, man. So Anthony's going to
just-
be
just-
working on getting his pre-check, his application done.
I'm just kidding. Nothing happened with any gloves or a finger.
No, but I did. I stood there for probably a good 5 minutes waiting for Anthony to get through security. But we got to our flight, hopped on, quick, easy. I mean, that probably was the fastest Boise to Salt Lake flight I've ever been on.
Yeah.
We were there in 32 minutes.
Hold up, though. This raises an interesting question. Your end destination was Denver, right?
Yeah.
You had to fly from Boise to Salt Lake
Well,
just to get to
Dane,
Denver.
that's because Delta doesn't have a hub in Boise anymore. But they pulled their hub out.
That's
their
right.
hub is in Salt Lake now. So
I just want to point out that that's silly.
yeah. So
it is silly. It is dumb.
So because we fly Delta, we usually always have to fly through Seattle or Salt Lake, period.
Yeah.
So so we flew to Salt Lake, fastest Salt Lake flight ever, to the point that the captain got on. So the stewardess was like, we're going to prepare and start our beverage and snack service. We're going to be coming through the cabin. And literally the captain got on and goes, stewardesses, we might want to be canceling that because we've got a tailwind and we are probably going to be preparing to land here in about the next 15 minutes. So total flight time is now going to be about 33 minutes. And he was like, so I apologize to anybody who doesn't get a drink. And then the
Code
stewardess
for we saved a few bucks, so we didn't have to give y'all anything.
yeah, and the stewardess was like, well, we'll attempt to make it through the cat. They made it to like 5 rows, and then that was over.
That's almost
Like,
worse.
Yeah.
I know. And
Like,
I was
it was-
sitting
just
there.
yeah.
don't do it at all because at that
They
point you're
literally
just
they
waving
did come
and
by
dangling it in
and they
front of
gave us
somebody.
cookies, and that was
Oh,
it. Like
yeah.
literally just dropping stuff off.
Enjoy
So
your Biscoffs.
yeah,
Yeah.
So the
Cookie?
Bifrost cookies.
Yeah.
So we landed, which now gave us 45 minutes or so in Salt Lake, about an hour
Yeah.
layover. We had about a 30-minute layover. Now we had like 45 minutes or an hour.
Was it snowing in Salt Lake?
No,
No.
It was flurries, but not. There was
Nothing
snow
on
on the
the-
ground, but nothing there.
Okay.
So
More snow than Idaho had, though.
yeah,
Okay.
so we had some McDonald's, got some breakfast, and then went and got on our plane. got ready to take off, literally taxied, getting ready to go, and then they shut everything down.
Like just dead on the runway.
Killed the
just-
engine.
And can we point out, like, everybody knows I hate flying, and everybody knows that there's always some type of like built-up anxiety that I have. So the fact that I'm like, okay, let's do this, an hour and 10-minute flight. Can't wait to get off this
You
plane.
hyped
Anthony
yourself.
hates flying
Let's-
into Denver. Let's put it
I'm
that
like,
way.
let's do this, right? And then exactly that. We taxi up, turns off the engines.
And says Denver's closed. They've put a stop on the runway for the next 45 minutes while they clean the runway,
Yeah.
and they are not letting anybody fly in because of the snowstorm that had hit. And Dylan had texted us that morning when we were in Salt Lake and said, "Good luck flying. It's really nasty here. Hopefully you guys can make it in." And we're like, "Great."
I think
So-
Levi told me that. I said, Levi, I'm going to pretend you didn't say that.
No, you said I'm going to change Blizzard to fun and say like land safe to land exciting or something.
Yeah,
Like you were
yeah.
trying to make it like cheerful.
Land like always,
Yeah.
normal, totally
And,
not
so-
out of the
flight.
ordinary.
Yeah. So we sat for an hour on our flight
On the tarmac.
on the
just-
tarmac, sitting on the flight. So Anthony and I were so we just sat there and waited, and then finally, literally, I was texting Carly, and then I called her because the captain literally said like, "Whoop, all right, stewardess is prepared. We're gonna try and get out of here, guys, and so everybody turn off your phones, get ready. Like here we go, prepare the cabin, everybody seatbelts on." I kid you not, it was less than 3 minutes from the time he said that to the point that the plane was rolling.
That's quick.
Like,
Yeah.
I mean, he gunned it to get out of there. And I was literally on the phone to my wife, and I was like, well, they finally lifted it, so we're going to oh, crap, I got to go. Like, they were coming through telling everybody to get off their phones. And I was like, I love you. I'll see you. I'll call you when I get there. And we flew, and then coming into Denver, last 10 minutes coming in for the landing, no visibility. You
So,
couldn't see
just
any.
white.
It was just white, and the sky was white because
So
it was so foggy.
They said there was less than half a mile visibility. I would argue that there was probably a quarter mile visibility.
You couldn't see anything.
And so we're coming in, and everybody knows, like, right when you hear the landing gear, that's when you typically start looking out the window, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, let's start looking at the
Because it's like
ground.
2 minutes after that, you're touching
and-
the ground.
yeah.
So
And so I hear the landing gear, and I'm looking out the window, and I don't see anything. And I look at Levi, and I say, do you see anything? I don't see anything. He's like, no, I don't see anything either. And we're watching, and we feel the plane lowering, and then eventually I see what looks to be a stick in the ground amongst a bunch of white, powder everywhere. And I'm like, holy crap, we're about to hit the ground. And so
Yeah.
Levi just kind of looks at me, his eyes widen, and I'm like looking at him like
Well, we were about ready to
like-
hold hands.
like,
Like, it
I'm
was,
like, I love you, man.
Oh,
This
it
is
was
it.
it was sketchy. Like it was just like, oh crap, here we go. And we landed, and we were sliding.
Yeah, and they could play that off all day long as we
No,
were
we
rolling.
we
and
came
that
in
was
fast.
and I'm like, no, we hit that and we just slid. I know what sliding in a car feels like, and we slid.
Yeah, we slid.
there was a lot less control than they let on.
But it was crazy. Like you look out there, and it was an army of bulldozers just
yeah.
shoveling that snow as fast as they could. And there was only like 4 inches that had like literally accumulated, but it had accumulated in such a fast time.
Yeah,
And it was so cold that it was creating drifts because it was blowing and it was coming in sideways. The snow was.
yeah.
So it wasn't just that it was like landing on the tarmac. It was like so much was landing and then being blown. So it was like continually just it was an odd shaped snow. So it was really difficult for them because they had to like scrape, and as they would shovel, there'd be more snow would cover where they hit. So so anyway, so it was
you got
pretty-
there.
So we got there. Then we hopped on our rental. We walked out to go get our rental car to get to the shuttle, and a lovely gentleman decided to tell us, asked us, "Are you going to be on Sixt or this other ACR we rent with Sixt, SIXT?" And we said we're with Sixt, and he goes, "Well, this is the front of the line. You guys need to be at the back because we've been waiting for 45 minutes for the shuttle." Anthony and I look at each other and we're like, okay. The shuttle pulls up. 20 people get on the shuttle. We don't get on the shuttle. Anthony looks at me and goes,
I said,
Screw this.
I said, F this, dude.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not waiting out here because it's 17 degrees.
Yep.
I'm wearing freaking joggers. My ankles are showing, and it's cold.
Yeah,
And
it was very cold.
and I'm
You
like-
had your thin jacket on.
Yeah, I had my thin jacket. I'm like, this isn't happening. So I said, get an Uber. You got
We
the
ran
Uber.
up the stairs,
Yeah.
literally got up the stairs, and our Uber was waiting for us.
Yeah.
Like we literally just had to go to the next level. So we
I mean,
just
I
went
know
up.
how it works. Usually
was
those
perfect.
drivers are like
Yeah.
sitting at the airport waiting for somebody to.
Yeah. So it was
Our chariot
awesome.
awaits. Yes.
And we said, follow that van. And he did. He got right behind the van, the transport. And literally they pulled into 6. He pulled in and dropped us off. And
Boom.
I ran in, got in line. There was 10 people in line. And then they unloaded the shuttle, and all those people came in, and there was probably another 25 people that were standing in line after that, and more coming when the next shuttle came around. So if we hadn't have gotten there, we would have been like, it would have been hours.
That
And it
little,
took us
like-
an hour to get our rental car.
Well, the Uber was probably like what, like $6, $8?
It was
something like
$9.
that. Okay, see that's worth it to get there, not wait in line.
Oh, yeah.
that long.
Absolutely. Like I'm sitting there, I'm like, I will never wait for this again.
I
Like,
get that's the move from now on.
So they gave us
If
a
you're
free
in
up. So they gave us
yeah.
a free upgrade. So she gave us an all-wheel drive C300.
Lovely.
So that was nice. We originally had on there for a CLA or a S60 Volvo.
the C is a lot nicer than the
So-
CLA.
So
I
they
can
gave
tell
us
you
a
that.
C300, a very nice car, very peppy and quick.
ask me how I know.
And,
Ask him how he knows.
yeah. and then we hustled over, grabbed some sandwiches because we texted Dylan and said, we're on the road. We're headed your way. It's a 30-minute drive. And he said, we're already done with lunch. There's no food. Stop and grab yourself something to eat. I can stall.
Like
We're good.
we ate those sandwiches. Like I feel
As-
like I ate that sandwich considerably fast. You snorted it. Like you inhaled it. Like,
So-
you
It was there, and then
Uh,
it wasn't.
I already eat fast. So
Yeah.
when people say, I'd like to sit down and enjoy this, I don't know what that means.
yeah.
Because I always eat fast, to the point that when we were in Florida, your sister looked over at me when we were at the restaurant Raglan Road,
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
and I had finished my stew, and she looked over and she'd taken like 2 bites of her food, and she was like, "What the hell?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "What's up?"
Yeah.
I eat.
It was
Like,
good.
It was good. How's your food going? How's
still-
that? She's like, "You just ate that all."
Unless you're gonna give me some, I would suggest you stop asking me and talking
Yeah,
about,
like-
about food.
So
Don't worry
Levi
about it.
eats like it's the last meal he's ever
well,
gonna
because like
have.
I'm sitting there, like because there was a
They're
sandwich.
big sandwiches. We
There
got big. It was
it
an awesome deli we went
Yeah,
to.
it was a little Brooklyn style thing. So it was a big sandwich. There was like a
Half a
chips,
pickle.
and then there was half a pickle. So I'm eating this sandwich. I see Levi just take the pickle and just shove the whole thing in his mouth, and I'm just like,
I did it seductively.
yeah, and
Oh,
I'm
no.
like, is that supposed to be impressive or what's going on?
I'm really confused right
but
now.
we grabbed that straight back into the car, drove to
We were
Rupes.
5 minutes from Rupes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
super close. We get out, we walk in, and everybody's in the classroom. So,
Yeah.
right when you walk into the main doors there, they have the Bigfoot Academy in the back. And we can see that everybody through the doors. Matt, I think, was filming at that time, too. And so we walk in, everybody said hello.
And then we did our presentation.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, just like that. Now, they had been going most of the morning.
They
for
had.
that.
So
Yeah,
that
it
was,
had been 1 o'clock, and we got there about 1:20.
yeah.
So we were 20 minutes late or so. But like I said, they had stalled enough. So Dylan's like, we kind of started late. We're actually kind of behind. So this works out perfect. So we got in there, did our thing, finished at 2:10 or so.
Nice.
And then started on the next cycle. We hung out there and enjoyed the training, the class, all that stuff. Ken, Matt's dad, was there,
Yeah.
which was rad. He was at the training. And then that night, about 5 o'clock, that's when all the barbecue was there. So we
Some
ate some
BBQ.
Wayne's barbecue. Anthony and I paced ourselves
Yeah.
and actually didn't eat a lot because we knew we were going to have
I was a little sad, Dane, because all that barbecue came in, and it was funny because everybody's hungry and everybody's
Yeah.
like, oh, we got to get these these vats of meat.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna look forward to eating later, so maybe I'll just take my time. And I was doing some extra polishing stuff, and I was talking to some other guys there, and by the time I walk out there. There was
A few
like
pieces of
5
meat left.
pieces of sausage left. There was like a scoop of what looked like pulled pork, a slice of bread, and some beans. And I was like, crap.
There's a little metal tray just
Yeah,
like doing
well-
a little dish dance at the corner and somebody just ran away with it.
And I was like, dang it. I'm like, I know I wanted to pace myself, but I wanted a little bit more than what was left here.
Oh,
Yeah.
you paced.
But it was good. There was a smaller class. Last year was 50. This time there was 36. So it wasn't one as was so. And last year we threw away a ton of food. So Matt kind of reeled it back a bit, which was fine. There wasn't a lot to throw away. But
So he was in the process of dialing it in, you might
yeah,
say.
so we
Dane-
headed.
Dane,
We'll get Dane with
stop
the dad pun. So we headed back to
Get
the
outta
hotel.
here.
Better than me saying
checked
karma
in.
earlier.
We checked in, and we asked her if we could have a room with a balcony. She laughed, and we told her the story about when you had a balcony and how the two of us never got a balcony, even though the three of us all had our own rooms.
Dane liked to stand. He liked to go up to the balcony
because we were at the Omni
naked and open up the curtains and just flash everybody at the pool.
Yep.
And we're like, we want to do that.
It's just like
Not
the scene out of
together,
Coming
but-
to
Yeah.
America, right?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
So we were talking to the girl. She ended up upgrading us to a 9th floor room, which was nice. So again,
The highest that we've been
secondary,
up. Yeah.
second upgrade we got for ourselves. So it felt pretty good. Then
Omni's been nice.
then we headed out to meet Dylan and Amanda.
Hold
at
on. I want
Hefe's.
to point out though, really quick. Every time we've been to the Omni, I love that place. Everybody knows we all.
I left a
we
review
all love that place
today and called it my home away from home.
It sucks that we've never been able to thoroughly enjoy that as amazing as that hotel
As a
is.
resort.
No,
that it
because
is.
anytime we're there, we have to go do something
yeah,
else.
we're in-
There's
we're
no
in and
time
out.
to like
I went and
actually
hung out.
enjoy it.
When I went and talked on the phone to Carly the other night,
Yeah.
when you were there, like that Thursday night, I went
went
down to the
cruise?
gym.
Oh,
I just went and hung out in the gym because there was
It's
nobody
a very
there.
nice little gym.
so they have,
And it's a nice gym.
Remember how big that conference room is?
It's
Yeah.
trippy. You don't
It's-
know how much building there really is because when you walk in those front doors, there's a whole lower level you don't see
They
when
have
you
a whole
first walk
spa
in. It's
area
just-
down below.
Yeah, it was awesome.
It's
They
kind of like
have
a multi-tier shopping mall almost
Yeah,
in terms of the
beautiful
space.
pool and
Yeah.
then
three or four restaurants inside.
yeah, their restaurants are awesome, and it's kind of one of those things where it's like we're there. What we see is we see the counter to the elevators to our room,
Yeah.
and we rarely. So next time we go down, I want to make sure we have like an evening to ourselves, to where we can just go do
Hang out.
Omni things
Yeah.
and enjoy the luxury life. But anyways, so
Noted.
you're saying Amanda and Dylan hit us up.
We
They
headed
said,
out to Hefe's.
ready for my body is ready
Yes.
for Hefe's.
Yeah,
So
we had
headed to Hefe's
some
Tacos,
words.
and we didn't tell Dane that we were going. We just waited till we were there and took pictures, just for fun. For fun.
So
and I sent
and
the angriest texts back.
It was the best. So we got there. We were waiting for them. They showed up. We ordered our food, ordered our tacos.
well, I ordered my.
you ordered your
margarita.
flight of margaritas.
So, which I absolutely recommend, Dane, because the cost of one margarita, you can get a flight, and it's just a smaller version, and you get all the flavors.
Yeah.
And the best margarita I got was actually the kombucha.
Oh, there's a kombucha
margarita.
one?
It's a
Kombucha margarita.
carbonated margarita, if you can imagine that. Not in like the cheap like Bud Light way that you get, at the gas
Like a-
station.
Like a limerita.
Like yeah, not those. This is like an actually like really
a
Dylan's,
Carburita.
Dylan's wife got Amanda got herself a glass of tequila, a shot of tequila.
It was more
That
than
was
a shot.
more
Yeah.
than a shot. It was like 3 fingers
Like-
of tequila.
Like
is what
Amanda,
it was.
you partied
Here's
tonight
your
or what?
32-ounce agave.
She's like, I'll just have a shot of tequila, and they're
I'm
like,
like,
okay,
no.
and they
I'm
bring her a cup that's basically this bottle full of tequila.
I'm like, are you gonna-
that's 8 ounces of tequila. Like, that's
Sip
like-
that, or what's
That's
your
no
what's your,
shot.
what's
Yeah.
your plan there? So we got that. We got the famous what were they, steak fries or what?
oh, we got
what-
their steak, their carne asada fries.
Oh, Dane, I think you had those, right?
think so.
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
I
it's
did.
like nachos.
The
but with
reason
French
I was
fries.
so upset about all this and finding out
Dane
about
had
it
a
as
religious
it was happening was
Dane found Christ there.
how enjoyable it was the first time we went, and then to not be able to experience it while
the
you
only
guys
place
were
that
just,
Dane prays is at Hefe's.
Well, and it's literally so good that I went home and I proposed to
Yeah.
my fiance.
Yeah.
wow, yeah,
That's
that is how
good
that
place
worked.
is.
yeah. So
Yeah, it wouldn't have happened unless he'd
yeah.
been to that
Dane,
restaurant.
Like,
That's
they
right.
both had religious experiences. You guys can go back, check out the video where we go to Hefe's, where we build the Rupes takeover.
I believe it was
TRC Rupes takeover.
Yeah.
TRC takeover.
It's like TRC's weekend at
Yeah.
Rupes or something.
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
Check
that.
it out. Go
Yeah.
on the channel and check it out. Anyway, we headed back to our hotel. I called the wife. You called the girlfriend. Anthony was totally
Fiancé.
out. Fiance.
Fiancé.
Sorry, Katie. And then we woke up the next morning, got ready, headed out the door, stopped and grabbed. We went into Longmont where we got our ice cream, and they have the pizza joint
Remember
right
that-
behind
that
it.
Cute little town that's extremely expensive.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
an adorable town.
Or
and then you
Louisville.
saw
It was
like
Louisville.
Louisville. That's what it was. Yeah.
what it costs to live around there, and you went, oh,
No, and that kind of brings us into the next. Brings me into the next thing. So we walk into what was it
It
called?
was like a bakery. I don't remember the name of it, but it
I
was a little bakery.
little bakery, but we walk in and it's one of those experiences. Like one of those experiences.
It's one of those expensive places where you go, I don't know what that says.
Yeah. So
Oh.
so it's one of those places
Nice.
where we walk in, and the first thing I see like, these people wearing flannel and like Patagonia sitting outside on the porch, cutting fresh baked bread with their cups of coffee, on this slab of wood, right?
That's called a
And-
hipster.
Well, so no, so I walk in,
A different kind of hipster. It's
and I
a
see-
Colorado hipster.
and I
It's
see
a
these
mountain hipster. It's
people,
different.
and I'm like, okay. So then we walk in there, and that's when I start looking
And
around.
all we did was Google breakfast. That
And
was it.
I'm, like,
and the
looking
closest
around,
place,
I'm
we're like,
like-
oh, let's get this place.
I'm like, Levi, what do you notice about this? And you're like, it's kind of. I'm like, everyone looks the same, and so,
Everybody had puffy coats.
So
Everybody
so-
had like the same color pants and boots
So
on.
this is the attire. All right, guys are wearing some type of either Patagonia jacket or vest where
North Face.
where it's not too puffy.
Yeah,
but
or
it's
North
just-
Face,
but it's
but-
just like that mid puffy level.
It was a mid puff.
And then they're wearing some type of jeans, and they're wearing some type of boots, and they have some type of kind of beaten, distressed baseball cap, or
course.
or no cap at all, and their head. Their head
I was just say,
shaved.
or like
Yeah.
those recommissioned army cap kind of things that some guys
no,
do.
not
The
quite.
ladies.
And
Okay.
then the ladies were wearing some type of pattern yoga pants, leggings,
course.
with some type of overdress type of thing,
Yeah,
with a
like
jacket
a-
on
yeah.
top, and then a beanie with the pom thing
Yeah,
at the top,
and boots.
The pump
and boots, and then looking
And like snow boots, not like dress boots, like snow boots.
Yeah.
And so there was a guy behind the counter, total bro of a guy. The way he talked was kind of slow,
Okay,
but
thank you very much. Is that all right if we do that?
Is
Perfect.
that all right?
What kind did you like? Are you thinking about something savory or are you thinking about something delicious?
That does not sound slow.
no, it was like it was like that, but with a slight like a
little bit of a delay.
bro,
Yeah.
Like a tinge of bro.
like a tinge of bro.
But Anthony speaks bro,
Yeah.
so I get what he was saying,
He's
and
got
I'm like he's killing it over there.
and Levi looks like a hipster when he's wearing flannel. So
I don't
No.
look like a hipster. I look like a vato.
yeah,
different
those
things.
glasses,
because he only has
man.
the top.
Those
No,
button.
it's because
glasses.
because I'm wearing flannel and jeans and cons.
Well,
like
because he wears the top button and
Whatever
he
you say,
lets the
buddy.
rest open.
I don't look like a hipster in my flannel. What kind of hipsters do you know, Dane?
But
Those aren't hipsters.
what I love
oh
about
no,
this
most of the ones
restaurant
I know
is
are from
that
Portland. So.
looking around, everything is just a bunch of like broken pallets and fresh, and fresh like
Yeah, it's like
fresh,
broken pallet wood all
like
everywhere.
in like greenery and things like that.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
to get to your coffee cup, you had to get around a bunch of broken wood pallets on some type of pour over method, Kalita kettle with all this stuff, and then the actual
Everything came from Etsy.
Well, and then the
Everything.
menu, you're looking around.
No, it was all
and
handmade.
I'm like, where is the menu? And Levi's
from
like,
Etsy.
it's up
Not from
there.
Etsy. Someone actually, probably the cook made it.
Levi's like, the menu's
all
up
have
there
Etsy
in that
stores.
corner on that piece of chalkboard that's, yay big with the tiniest font I have ever seen. So I just asked the dude, what do you got for like a basic like
Yeah.
bacon, egg
So
sandwich?
I had a croissant that was covered in that had cheese and meat inside of it,
Yeah.
and it was like what we had at Disney, and it was delicious.
yeah.
And
What
I
did you
just
have?
said, I want a normal breakfast sandwich. And the guy was like, well, you can, but it's in a
can-
quiche.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm like, damn it, I don't want that. I just want a sandwich. I don't want the quiche.
I want some
I
meat,
don't want
some
this.
eggs, and some cheese.
And so,
on
and
some
that's
bread.
when the guy, I was like, what's the best selling sandwich? And he made some crazy name. I ended up getting it. What it was
the
was
booley
some
or Balali or Balali
some
or
type
something.
of bread with some type of like fresh kale, a slice of raw salmon, some arugula, some type of cheese, some red onion, and then some like garlic aioli, right? It was delicious, but it pissed me off because it was a $15 sandwich,
Yeah.
and
Mine
I'm
was
just-
$4.50.
And the thing that the people that go to that place are all regulars, because the lady behind the counter was talking to a guy like, hey, Jason, do you want to do your own pour over on the milk today on your coffee? And he's like, no, I couldn't do that, Beth. You're the best at it. And she's like, okay, I guess I got it this time. And like pours it and does the perfect little leaf thing
Yep.
on the top of the coffee. And I'm like, I hate all of you people. I hate this place. You all on your laptops. I hate
But
that
then
you
we
can-
walked outside,
But
and
see-
Anthony is eating his sandwich. He's like, oh, gosh, this is the most delicious thing
No,
I've eaten in a long
I
time.
enjoy that stuff. There's just a certain level where you're like, okay, I'll take that.
We should have stopped
And
at
then-
McDonald's is what we're saying.
I
But it was fun.
love, frankly, hipster food, that kind of stuff. But the problem
I
is,
hate hipster
take
food.
it and make it 25% less pretentious, and then you can
This
enjoy
wasn't
it.
pretentious. This was
just-
like,
Everything you're
it just-
describing to me
no,
sounds...
they weren't pretentious about everything. It was just odd.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, it
It
wasn't like they
didn't
were.
make
It wasn't like they were
sense.
trying to show off. It wasn't like they were trying to put out this image. But like, you get out there and
No,
I
there's
see,
just an innate vibe
well,
a place
I see
like that
a
puts
line
off.
of Range Rovers or Highlanders or all these decked out Forerunners, and I'm like, okay. And I'm looking at the rest of it. I'm like, Levi, it's 10 o'clock. Do these people not have a damn job to get to?
It's Friday morning at 10 o'clock.
And he's like, no, because it's a tech community around here. So I was talking to Dylan. Dylan's like, yeah, all those people, they literally telecommute. So they'll go and get breakfast, walk their dogs, enjoy
I was
half
gonna say
their day.
they all have dogs
before
and
they
they're all
have
there.
to do any work at all. And I'm like, what is that? He's like, that's just the Boulder community, bro. That's just like that lifestyle. And I'm like, well, I kind of low key hate that lifestyle, but I'm also a little envious and jealous.
And see, that's
Yeah.
exactly it.
live that same life.
I want that, but simultaneously I'm annoyed by it. So
Yeah.
it's just, to those of you in the audience who fit that description, I apologize in
sorry.
advance. But you know what? Just know, a little envious, just a little
Yeah.
bit.
So we
you
hop
got that
back
going
in
for
as
you.
we're walking out to our Mercedes C300.
Yes.
We're bitching about all these dudes in their
Well,
cars.
your first
We're like,
mistake is it's not a GL, and it's not a.
excuse
or
me,
it's
while
not
I
a G-Wagon,
unlock
for
this
that matter.
Mercedes we're driving in, and we
Like,
fired
literally,
up.
we even said that. I'm
We
like,
literally
like,
said, it was
all
like-
these people and their money, and we like unlocked this Mercedes. I'm like, so this kind of looks bad. And
So then we headed over to Rupes. We hung out for the rest of the day. Bob and Dave from PNS gave an amazing presentation on Beadmaker.
Awesome.
The benefits of it. It was phenomenal.
They answered all the questions.
They literally laid everything out, answered all the questions. It was awesome to watch Dave lay down some knowledge on these guys. And literally he was awesome to have there because he could answer stuff that Jason had too.
yeah.
Any type of question Jason had regarding any type of chemical, period. He was able to do that. So that was really cool to do. Have them there. It was awesome. And then we had to leave. 4:30, caught up real quick, and Anthony had to go. So I had to take him back to the airport.
Well, you had to pull me away from.
I literally had to pull you away.
The Obsessed Garage guys, because shout out to everybody I met there.
Everybody was awesome.
I would list off everybody's names, but I do know I met a lot of people. It was funny because some of the guys came up to me and they're like, "Hey, big fan of the podcast," and I appreciate that the people preface the conversation with that, because I think I've made it pretty clear that it's always weird when I talk to people on the phone or in person, and they'll ask me a question. I'll give them this big spiel with all these examples and all of this different stuff, that I think they don't already know.
Yeah.
And then they say, "Oh, by the way, I've been listening to the podcast since day one. Love the stuff." And I sit there like, "Well, why didn't you start with that? Because then I could have."
You're like, I'm treating you like someone who doesn't know all this stuff.
Exactly.
And they're like, "Well, you're doing so good." So a lot of the people came up to me and they said, "Before I begin, I listened to the podcast."
Just so you know, I'm a fan.
I'm like, "Nice."
That's a good move going forward.
and
Use that.
and it was just cool because a lot of the guys there too, they don't know that I'm also crazy. I don't want to say crazy, but they don't know that I'm also
no, you
like them.
got a little.
I'm a little obsessed like a lot of those other people, and so they don't realize, and they're like, "So this may not make sense, but this is my issue. I'm worried about this thing on my car, on my paint that hasn't even happened yet, and I'm worried about what's to come." And I'm like, you don't have to explain to
Ask
me.
Anthony about the Evo he doesn't drive.
I'm like, dude, I'm just as crazy as you. I don't even consider it crazy. I just consider it very particular. And they're like, wow, I thought, nobody, I thought it was just this group. I'm like, well, technically I'm part of this group, even though all my posts get deleted on the Facebook group. And that's okay. I'm not bitter.
Better talk to those moderators.
I know, right? Thanks for deleting all my stuff there.
He
OG
tries
guys.
so hard, guys.
I really do. I'm like, my post wasn't pretentious enough.
Yeah.
Anyways, okay, continue.
Anyway, so I said, Anthony, let's go. It was 4:40.
Yeah.
We had to get him to the airport. So me and him fly to the airport.
Yep.
We're driving quick. Really, making our run through with that C300 and its turbo 3-liter.
So there is was it a dynamic mode, or what was it called?
You
Like
put it in Sport Plus.
Sport, yeah.
Anthony was controlling the suspension.
Dane's
so
eyes just like
he put it in Sport
he
Plus.
looks, he's like, "You did that with Levi?"
And he put it in Sport Plus. He's like, let's see what this baby can do. So
no.
it
it
did
was-
have power.
It was quick.
It was pretty quick.
It was actually a rad car.
Okay, I honestly am not up to date
So
on my
just
German cars.
so
because
everybody knows, I was not under the rag company insurance. I
correct.
rented this car with my own money,
correct. Yeah.
and it was under my own insurance.
the
Just so
reason-
everybody's aware.
Yeah. This is for the nerds out there who listen to this stuff. I'm not up to date on my German cars, but I do know for a fact that most of the naming terminology these days is just hocus pocus. It doesn't actually mean anything. That 300 doesn't actually mean 3 liters anymore.
True.
It's
It could have
probably
been
a
a
turbo
2-liter.
4, and it's
Probably
probably a 2 liter. And then basically like what BMW does is they'll call it something, and then they'll have different variations of engine sizes that don't match up to it at all. Or like the AMG models in Mercedes and the 63s.
I would have
they're
loved
not
to
actually 6.3 liter
I would have
anymore.
loved a C300 with an AMG body kit on it. It would
You
have
end
been
up
cool.
you end up with the turbo 4 liter or 5 liter setup and stuff,
Let's
but they
just
still
say-
call it a 63.
Let's just say it was
It's like,
quick
yeah.
and we enjoyed it.
I just
So-
knew somebody was going to come in with the comments of like, actually, it's
So
like,
I missed
believe
the
me, I
turn.
know.
I missed the turn and pulled into the parking lot.
Yeah.
Oh,
So we had to give the ticket back to the parking lady, go back around, loop one more time, and I was able to drop Anthony off at 5:20, 5:15.
5:20. Yeah, and you dropped me off. I went inside there. It was surprisingly dead.
Which
I
is nice because we were worried about that because it's under
And-
construction right now.
But it's kind of funny because I was walking through and I still had my rag company, my blue SEMA shirt on, which is my blue and gray, has all the badges and all
Oh,
the
yeah.
There's
Air
a
Force
presidential
One
seal on it.
sticker on it and all that. And so I'm walking through and the TSA, the guy that's sitting at the TSA was like, so what's that? And I'm like, oh, the rag company. He's like, say that again. I'm like, the rag company? And he's like, what's that? And I'm like, how do I say this? We're a microfiber company. And he looks at me, he gives me that look. I'm like, for car detailing, like, I don't have time to explain this. It's going to sound really stupid.
Yeah.
And don't make
This just means I've
Yeah.
touched Air Force One,
Yeah.
sucker.
And I'm sitting there like, don't make me
and then he starts
feel-
asking more questions because
Well,
he's TSA.
yeah.
It's like, oh, really? You've touched Air Force One?
Well,
Tell me
that's the
more
thing, like,
about
there's
that. And you're like,
always-
no.
Like there's always that guilt, right? When somebody starts questioning you at the airport, and I'm sitting there like, listen, man.
I'm just a guy making my way, trying to live my
I'm
life.
just a guy trying to get
Yeah.
on this plane that I don't even want to get on. So just give me some slack.
I thought it was going to go somewhere with that, but a lot of times when this is always fun when people ask you, "Oh, the rag company, what's that?" and you try and explain it to
I just
them,
tell
right?
him I'm a towel monger.
Yeah. Well, like somebody
Sell
asks you, like,
towels.
"So are you famous?" And you're like, "No."
Yes.
You're like,
Google me.
"Towel famous? Towel famous.
Towel
Okay.
famous, whatever
Take,
that means.
Take that.
Yeah.
Don't let it
So-
go to your heads."
Anyways, I went straight down to the area. Basically, pretty easy flight. Leaving Colorado, it was a little bumpy. And it was scary because I didn't
Did
have.
you?
I
What
didn't
were
have-
you main
didn't have
cabin
Levi
again, or
there.
did you have? Where were you?
I was
Or were
just
you-
Zone 3 main cabin, and there
I
was.
got Comfort Plus.
It was nice though because I didn't have anybody sitting next to me, which was
Oh,
cool. So
nice.
I got to enjoy that flight alone, which was also a little bit scary. However, I did have it was 2 rows behind me. There's always that guy that has that just extra loud voice, which is probably me
What
on
you
most
hear
flights.
all the time. Yeah.
Your voice
And
carries.
So I got to hear a guy's conversation. It was a Mormon guy flying into Utah, right? Having a conversation on religion to a German Baptist, and they went into everything.
Wow.
And my noise canceling headphones did not
Kept
cancel.
they kept picking him up.
Did not cancel any of that. And so I'm sitting there and I'm just like, well, I'm learning a lot about religion.
Crystal clear.
Yeah.
And
Hey, why
I,
not?
Yeah.
I really wanted to be watching this, this show because I was watching that Fire Festival
the
documentary.
documentary.
Doc.
Super interesting. Watch that. It's pretty good. But I'm trying to watch that. But I'm like, I guess this conversation about religion is way more interesting. So I'm just going to listen to this. Did that. Got in Salt Lake. Bam. Flew home.
How long was your layover in Salt Lake?
Layover was 45 minutes.
Oh, nice. That's not bad at all.
What it was. So it wasn't bad at all. Everything was pretty easy, but it was just nice to be home. I will say, though, traveling fly time, right, basically 8 hours was worth of
'cause
being
you
in
left
a
it-
plane.
When was your flight? 6, 7?
6, and I got in at 11:30.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, all that fly time for only being in an area for 48 hours and sleeping.
It's
you know,
hard. It's hard.
It's hard and almost like that's a lot of traveling just to be somewhere for such a short period of time.
Yeah. So I left Anthony at the airport. I hustled back to the hotel.
Yeah.
Changed my clothes. Was meeting Dylan and Amanda for dinner at the Village Tavern, and right near the hotel. And then was also meeting Aaron and Dennis Driesen of Ottawash, Colorado. So the 5 of us all had dinner, and
Nice.
we spent literally probably 80% of it talking about kids and families because the Driesens have a son with autism. Dylan and his wife have a son with autism, and I have a daughter with autism. So we kind of talked about how it is for all of us and what the struggles each child has and what our plans are for the future with them and all that kind of stuff. So it was really, really good. And it was, I don't want to say, it was oddly bonding for all of us. It was really neat, and it really felt like we were all just friends there having a great time. And then we talked car washes with the Driesens. They own Auto Wash Colorado. You guys have heard us talk about it on the podcast. They actually messaged me 6 weeks ago. One of the listeners literally saw them at their car wash and told them they heard about their car wash from the Rag Company podcast. So whoever
cool
you
is
were,
that?
thank you. They were totally excited and couldn't believe it. They're like, we just found out you guys shouted us out on there. They're a big towel purchaser of ours. Really cool. They've got the Auto Wash showroom, which is a massive detail shop. So we just kind of talked about car washes and things like that, what they're planning on doing for their business. And then then I went back to the hotel and hung out, called my wife and just kind of hung out, went to sleep. I woke up about 2 a.m. to all those people that were having a cocktail party that night downstairs in the hotel.
Yeah.
It was noisy.
Who was having it?
I don't know, but everybody had on dresses and ties and suits. It was like a ball gown.
I wish I could have been there. And you know what?
Yeah.
Actually, I forgot to tell you something. During that flight leaving Denver, right? I'm sitting there, I had my noise canceling headphones on, and I hear the beep thing go off, and I hear, "Hi, we're looking for one volunteer to basically, get off the flight, right? We're offering an $850 flight voucher, right? Free hotel, free transportation, and then a flight booked for tomorrow noon, right?"
And you were
I sat there.
could have done that.
No, and I sat there, and I'm like, did I hear that right? And I'm like, was that for the right flight? And so I'm thinking, well, I have to be home tonight. Katie's expecting me. I'm just stupid. I didn't think to myself, this is really worth it.
This is money I could use to take my wife somewhere.
And so,
when we get married.
I text Katie. I'm like, what do you think? I'm like, do you think I should do this? And I see her little writing thing, and just all she says is, go. I'm like, okay. And so I get up. I walk over there. There was one lady that literally got there 1 second before me. And I'm like, was that flight voucher taken? And she's like, oh, yep, the lady just got it. If we need an extra person, we'll let you know. And I was like,
no.
Dang it. I was about to call you and say, yo, I need you to come pick me up, man, because I just, I'm making this work. Because I would have loved that cocktail night. I would have gone to that.
Yeah, you could have totally dolled yourself up and gone in with your Rag Company shirt on, put on a clip-on tie. And
who are you? I'm the towel guy for the party.
Yeah. So they were up partying until literally 2 a.m.
Yeah.
And then I slept in like another hour, and the windows were rattling because we were so high up.
Oh, wow.
Oh, the wind.
The wind was hitting the building, and you could hear the window rattle. And so that kept waking me up.
That's intense.
Yeah. So I was like, what the heck?
Yeah.
So Friday night, I did not get a great sleep. I got a handful of 5 hours, which is my normal. So it wasn't bad, but I was up at 6:30 and took a shower and hung out. I just laid on the bed till about 9:30, and then I grabbed my stuff, checked out, and headed over to Dylan's house, where I got to hang out, play with the kids. And then Dylan and Amanda took me to lunch at Bojo's or Boogie's or Bojo's. It's a great restaurant. Tons of good food, wine selection, beer selection, all that stuff. Dylan loves that place. Amanda's sister works there. So he took me to the location by their house, and we got what's known as the mountain pies. And it's literally a pizza that's very thin, but has an extremely thick crust. The crust has honey infused in it.
Yeah.
And they give you a bottle of honey. So you eat the pizza, and then you pour honey on the crust, and you eat the crust. It was amazing.
Sounds
it was
a lot
so
different
good
than the mountain pies that I've had in my life.
Yeah, so it was a delicious pizza pie. Kids were fun. Amanda's amazing. They were just awesome. So
shout out to Amanda, by the way.
She's
she looks
amazing.
Awesome.
And Amanda looks amazing.
Yeah,
so
she's been doing all dieting and all sorts of different things.
Yeah.
And so she looks freaking awesome. So
Dylan, tell Amanda that she looks amazing.
Yep.
And maybe play this part for her so she believes you.
Yeah.
But no, it was great. And then I headed over to the Auto Wash showroom.
Yeah.
That was supposed to only take me 30 minutes. It took me an hour with traffic.
Oh, wow.
So I'm glad I had the time. So I really only had about 35, 40 minutes to hang out with the Driesens. So got to check out the showroom again. They've added more stuff. They showed me the new tint spot, their where they do their PDR. They showed me their new like filling room where they're doing all their chemicals and stuff.
And they do it all there.
They're going to be dominating the Denver market pretty soon with for cleaning cars. So that's going to be pretty amazing. But it was awesome. So got to see all that. They had all the doors. Remember how they talked about wrapping all the doors in photos?
Yeah.
They did wrap all the doors in photos.
Oh, that's
it
awesome.
looks so awesome.
Yeah.
Like, it was cool. Like, it's just, I'm like, what a great idea. So vinyl wrapped photographs of cars on the doors.
They have just great ideas. I think they're just two people that are full of ideas.
Yeah.
And they're all awesome. So if you have a chance to go check out that showroom, you should.
Yeah, if you're in the Denver area, hit any of their car washes. So then they took me to one of the car washes to show me because I wanted to actually see it. And checked it out, took some video of it while we were there. Dennis showed me all around. It's their Northfield location, and it's 3 self-serve bays, 2 dog wash bays, and 3 full service or automatic bays. And their automatic washes are full touchless. And what was crazy was one of the automatic bays wasn't working when we got there. But this is the insane thing. So their Complete Crush, which is their kind of all-purpose cleaner product that they foam on the vehicle, smells like orange soda.
Awesome.
The rinse cycle wasn't properly spraying water on it to rinse it, right? So he was like, oh no. So he went into the thing. So I'm watching that machine and I'm like, oh, this is going to suck for those people. The blow dryers kick on because the rinse cycle doesn't work. And the low pressure rinse just kind of hits it, gets some of the soap off. But the blow dryers hit it, blow everything off. He goes, we walk around to the front. He prints out a new code for the gal and goes, say sorry, the wash is broken. I'm going to refund your money or give you a new code to get another free wash. He puts a cone in front of it, gives it to the 2 people behind. Here's a new code. Here's this. So you guys, if you want to get in line in the other 2, this is broken. I walk out, I look at that car, and I'm like, that thing's clean. It washed it. Whatever that product, that is amazing. So not only do they have a great wash, but dude, it was Saturday at 2:00. They had 3 self-serve bays with 3 cars deep in each one. People waiting to use the self-serve. Then they had the 2 full aisles for the other extra 2 washes, 6 cars in each line waiting to go through.
Ooh.
Then they had probably 4 cars out there by the vacuums being vacuumed, and both dog washes were going with 5 dogs.
So I'm curious about the dog
I'm
wash.
like dying over this, this is insane.
Is it indoors? Is it outdoors?
You're dying because
it's inside.
You wanted to take that C300 through the wash because I know how much you like going through car washes.
I wanted to, but I didn't
like,
bring it. I rode with Dennis in his truck.
Mistake.
And that C300 was very dirty, and I thought, I'm going to wash it there. Like, this is how it's going to... Like, I would have gone through because I would have loved to have seen it because I would have loved to take it just totally, as dirty as it was.
I'm pretty sure it'd be treated better there.
Get it washed and see how it looks when it comes out because that's really a true test of a car wash.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I was bummed I didn't get to run through. So maybe next time. But the Driesens did say, when I texted them, said, all right, here's our plan Friday night. And they were like, oh, do you need a rental car while you're here? And I said, no, I already got one. And they said, oh, shoot, we have one that's got all-wheel drive. We would have just loaned you. And I was like, oh, yeah, which one? And she's like, the i8. It says auto wash on it. I was like, I don't know if you want me driving that one around.
Man. Yeah, maybe not. I'd take it.
Yeah. I'd take Dane with me and just watch him scream.
You would. I'd have fun
so
with that.
it was great. And then I headed back I left the auto wash, came back, grabbed some glass cleaner, cleaned the front windshield because I couldn't see anymore.
Yeah.
Before I turned the car, the last half hour I had the car, I had the windshield clean. But dropped the car off. I was like, oh, this is going to suck if I have to wait for 45 minutes. So I gave myself a good hour and a half to get to the airport. So drop the car off. Sixt is on it. Gal helps me, checks me out, all this stuff. I go stand at the thing. The first shuttle pulls up. I was like, well, that was sweet. I only had to wait 2 minutes. And there's 5 people waiting. The gal pulls up, drops people off. And then she goes, okay, my shift's over. And I was like, where's the other truck? And she's like, I'm off at 7. I got to go. And I was like, it's 3:00. What do you mean by that? And she's like, hold on. They're on the microphone or the walkie-talkie. And then the guy's like, I'm at the stop sign. And so she goes, he's at the stop sign. And then just closes the door and drives off. And I'm like, And there's this German guy. There's literally this German guy standing next to me. He's like, she say she off at 7? And I was like, and it's 3:00 right now. And he's like, huh. And we just kind of looked at each other. And then all of a sudden the next shuttle came up and that guy's like, hey, everybody hop on. And only 3 of us got on the shuttle. And I was like, well, that's even better. The other 2 were just waiting for their friends. So we hustled over. They dropped me off at the Delta. I walked in, nobody in the Delta line because I had to check my bag.
Yeah.
And the gal's like, all right, you're good to go. I was like, has it been crazy today? She's like, no, it's been dead today. I was like, huh. So go down to security. No one in line at security, and I have clear. So I just walk in, go through, make it like, I mean, it was funny. The guy in front of me took off his shoes. And I'm like, dude, we're in pre-check. Like, what are you doing? Like, anyway.
You're not Anthony. I mean,
well, you don't need to take your shoes off.
Yeah.
So anyway, I thought that was weird, but made it on the thing, got to and like walking through, it was like just dead. Like the airport was just empty. And I was like, this is so weird. And I was calling my
Were
wife.
you getting a bad feeling at all?
I was like, is it closed? Like, are all the flights grounded? Because this place is empty.
You're thinking, you're like, what does everybody else know that I don't?
Right. Yeah. No, I was like, what's happening? So we got to the. So anyway, I got on the plane, flew fine, landed in Utah, got on the plane in Utah, and this time I got the row right behind first class. But when I picked my seat for Comfort Plus, there was a second seat there. When I got on the plane, they changed the plane. It was smaller. It was only 3 first class seats. So my feet were literally straight into the aisle, and I didn't have a chair in front of me.
Oh, nice.
And I was like, this is kind of cool, but it also means I didn't have a pocket to put anything.
Yeah.
And when they came by, I like pulled out my little tray and like was like, this is kind of dumb. But anyway, I landed. I got in Boise at 9:30. We're supposed to land at 9:45. So that was great. So grabbed my bag. Like I got downstairs. My bag was already out. So that was awesome. Caught my bag, got my Uber, made it home. I was walking in my front door at 9:50. It was sweet. So
not bad.
Yeah, I was very stoked for that. So all in all, it was a good trip. Easy, simple, fun. Week and a half. We're going to be headed to Georgia, to Atlanta for the Serum Summit. So that's it, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And Dane?
No, that was it. So, guys, thanks again for telling your story that I missed out on. It's not too fun when you got to hang back.
But it was
and
really
hear
fun
about
eating
it,
tacos and
I know,
watching you
but
score.
guys,
Yeah, keep
it's going to be
talking
worth
about
it.
Thanks.
Stay tuned for Wednesday. Dane just killed it with this video.
He watched bits and pieces.
We got...
I want to get it out there so bad. It's just been really, really making my life miserable trying to export this thing.
Yeah, I can imagine.
We'll get it done. I'm going to do everything I can to get it out on Wednesday, so it should be fun.
Rock and roll.
All right, guys. Thank you for listening. If you haven't subscribed already, I highly suggest you do so on both the Rag Company YouTube channel and the Rag Company Podcast YouTube channel. So if you're listening and you didn't know we do videos
Please tell
of these,
a friend too.
Go to YouTube and you can find the podcast right there too, and you can watch them.
Yeah.
Or listen, whatever you want to do. We're on Spotify, we're on iTunes, all those things. So anyway, guys, leave a review, leave a comment. Let us know how we're doing. Make a joke about my tree. It's all good.
Yeah.
And with that said, I guess we'll catch you next week.
Rock
Adios.
and roll.
See ya.